एक्चुअल में ट्रॉमा क्या है, स्ट्रेस क्या है, डिप्रेशन क्या है, क्योंकि बहुत डिफरेंट टर्म्स है. व्हाट इज डिफरेंट इन ऑल थ्री थिंग्स?
With women, we see a lot of turning this stress or turning this anger inwards. And what that does is in the long term, if you've had that much stress turned inwards, you've no outlet, it somaticizes, meaning we see a lot of autoimmune conditions like arthritis.
Jessie Dhaliwal is a trauma integrative counselor who holds a sacred, grounded space for healing, blending ancestral wisdom, embodiment, and evidence-informed care to help clients remember, reclaim, and come home to themselves.
Kids now have the same go touch grass instead of just sitting on their devices all day because that lowers cortisol levels, increases dopamine, it lowers blood pressure. This is the medicine.
If someone is being raped in life, if someone has not got the justice for what happened to them and they're in that trauma, can they be healed?
Justice would be amazing. It'd be very helpful, and it doesn't happen. Most of the time, unfortunately, you weren't the only one in your lineage that was raped. So it's not just your trauma that we need to get rid of now, because it's all sitting in your womb. And back to epigenetics, because you were actually an egg in your mom's body when your nun was pregnant. So all of that is sitting in you.
आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक है, इट इज़ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज हम सब सोचते हैं इस टॉपिक के बारे में, बट वेरी फ्यू ऑफ अस रियली टॉक इट अबाउट. बहुत थोड़े लोग हैं जो खुल कर ये बोल पाते हैं दैट यस आई एम गोइंग थ्रू समथिंग इन माई हेड. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट स्ट्रेस, मेंटल इलनेस और ट्रॉमास. इंडियन फैमिलीज में हमें बचपन से सिखाया जाता है दैट मर्द बनो, स्ट्रांग बनो, ज़्यादा कोई प्रॉब्लम आ जाए तो गुरुद्वारे चले जाओ, या फिर कोई प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है तो पाठ कर लो, पूजा कर लो. लेकिन कोई हमें ये नहीं बताता अगर प्रॉब्लम दिमाग में चल रही है और वो अंदर से प्रॉब्लम है तो उसका सोल्यूशन कैसे करना है. और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट सवाल, क्राइम विक्टिम्स एक्चुअल में फील क्या करते हैं? इज इट अबाउट जस्ट वन नाइट? एक रात में उनको ये फीलिंग आ जाती है दैट वी आर डूइंग समथिंग रॉन्ग, इट इज़ अ गिल्टी और इट इज़ अ प्रेशर. उनकी फीलिंग्स को भी हम आज अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे. आज हम इन सब टॉपिक्स के ऊपर बात करने जा रहे हैं विद अ प्रोफेशनल जो लास्ट डेकेड से इसी इंडस्ट्री में काम कर रही है. हर नेम इज़ जेसी धालीवाल. शी इज़ अ फाउंडर ऑफ सॉलिडेरिटी, और लास्ट 10 years में शी हैव बीन वर्कड विद अ लॉट ऑफ क्राइम विक्टिम्स, ट्रॉमा स्पेशलिस्ट और many more things which you will get to know about it today. Thank you so much, Jessie, for joining in today. And the first thing where I want you to really break the ice for the people, actual में trauma क्या है, stress क्या है, depression क्या है, क्योंकि बहुत different terms है. जब मैं आज read भी कर रहा था about these things, that what is the real difference, अगर आपको एक एक लाइन में सबको बताना हो to our audience that what is different in all three things.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I'd love to speak about trauma and stress. I think stress is when the body starts to experience that it's too much. So this could be you're overworking, or you've immigrated somewhere and things are just very overwhelming. At the point that it becomes trauma is when the stress has gone on way too long. So we look at big T trauma and little t trauma in our definitions. So the big T trauma, this is when there's been that big car accident. It's an easy example, that really jolted you. You thought you might even actually die.
Yeah.
The little T traumas, those are the ones that can be harder because it's an accumulation of stressors that put you out of what we call a window of tolerance. So let's maybe look at what is a window of tolerance.
Yes.
That might be helpful for everybody here. So say this is your window.
Okay.
I have charts in the other room if that's helpful.
No, this works.
Okay, so this is how much stress you can handle.
Okay.
And then something is putting you up into hyperarousal. Hyperarousal is your fight or flight response.
Got it.
Yes. So that is anxiety or anger. Or you're going into your freeze response. We call that hypoarousal, because now the stress has gotten it's so high that your body's actually starting to shut down a little bit. So if you've had enough of these incidents over your timeline, then you could have what we call complex.
इकट्ठे होते जा रहे हैं.
Yeah, a complex trauma.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what is depression really?
Yeah.
Like, is it something which is explainable in words? जो लोग आसानी से वर्ड्स में बता देते हैं, I'm getting depressed out of this. Is that depression, or it is something else actually which people might not be looking at it?
Yes, I think a lot of times when people are coming in with very low mood, they're having low appetite, low motivation. So those are some of the markers here. They might have actually had that complex trauma we were talking about. It had been out of their window way too many times. Other times it's actually grief.
It's just grief.
I mean, grief is profound.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is that big purple book that we call the DSM, that book says it's 6 months, and after that, call it depression.
6 months.
But how do you put a timeline on it? Say you lost a parent.
Yeah.
We can't, and you're young still.
Yeah.
This might be something that you're going to grieve in pieces for.
For the life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is depression? Depression is when you don't have that energy
Got it.
to do life.
Got it.
Yeah.
It might be in some phases too,
Yes.
right? So if we talk about any normal person, they might have lost their parent in early age, और उनको शायद किसी और के parent की death पे शायद ये ज़्यादा realization होती है उस time पे that yeah, I'm getting connecting to it, and then they feel depressed to it, and it comes in phases all the time. When they see anyone losing parent, they start connecting. Because I've seen in my life too that there was a lady who works at my home in India. So in our neighborhood, someone lost a parent. She was crying for the whole day. I said, why are you never worked at that place, nothing. And I never understood. And I was very young at that age. And then when you just said might be coming in parts, now I connected. I'm like, is there something same which we are talking about? Like she was depressed inside because of her loss of parents in young age, and she just got connected when she saw someone else having the same loss.
Yeah, and there you're talking about something very fascinating. It's how our body actually stores the grief, and our body actually stores trauma. So I think one word for what you're speaking to is called an anniversary reaction.
Oh.
So if an anniversary of the death of a loved one happens, and at that point, you may not even know, cognitively up here, you might not know this is why I'm getting sad all of a sudden, but your body's remembering.
Yeah.
And then the other piece you're saying, it was somebody else's loss that triggered it.
Yep.
And that's how attuned our bodies can be.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
That is something I just connected, because this is not a topic which I guess I have not even discussed with my friends ever. So because I don't know, I'm a normal human being. I have never connected to all of these topics. मुझे आधी लाइफ तक तो लगता ही नहीं था कोई डिप्रेशन नाम की जगह होती है. So ये कनाडा आके शायद I've been introduced. People have started telling me about it. जब आसपास लोगों के reactions में difference देखा, then I got into it that this is something we need to discuss. Okay, coming back to you, Jessie, you are from a normal Punjabi household family. Your family was immigrated, or they have connections back in India. In a normal Punjabi household, I don't think so. We really talk about mental health. We really touch back. And was your childhood the same? How it was different, and how you think the parents should be reacting to the second generation up here we are doing the upbringing for them? What should be different, and what was different in your life? Because I was reading through your journey, you have also been taking therapy for a long time for some of your personal reasons, but how it was different in your family?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this. It's a very big question. I think let's start with the parents. Immigration was excruciatingly challenging. The point of immigration where you come in and, back when my parents immigrated, you're kind of sold this lie, for lack of better terms, that you'll come here, there's a point system. and you'll be able to do X, Y, and Z. You get here, and it's like, no, you actually have to jump through 6 more hoops that we forgot to mention.
Yeah.
So they're stressed out. Our parents were very stressed out when they were raising us. They faced a lot of racism.
Yeah.
My parents immigrated back in the 80s. So a lot of racism, like chocolate ice cream versus we like vanilla. Some of the slangs that my mother recalls, she was in grade 9 when she immigrated.
Yeah.
So being in a new space without all of the support that you would have had, and then coming here and now raising children. So I always remember to remind my clients, like, yes, your trauma is very valid. This was not okay, the way that we were parented. And our parents went through so much systemic oppression, so much disconnection from their roots to be here, to give us this life. So I think that really needs to be said. And then in the way that they did parent, well, you're coming home after working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
You're exhausted.
Yeah.
What comes with exhaustion? Irritability.
Yeah.
So I remember my dad is going to come home. I'm going to now go do my homework in my bedroom because he's going to yell at me if I don't. So all those little things, like, or I can't be playing out with my friends anymore because when dad comes home, my homework has to be done.
Yeah.
We didn't have cable TV because he didn't want us to soak in the Western culture and become too, and this is back in the 90s now, right? When I'm growing up. So there's a lot of things that my inner child, we call it. So our inner child, that she wishes had been different. I read a lot of books in my room because I wasn't allowed to socialize too much because he was afraid.
Yeah.
My parents were afraid that something bad was going to happen to me in a country that they didn't fully understand. And in terms of what can parents do differently, I think it's just having open discussions, and that can be challenging because that means that the parents themselves have sat with their discomfort and their emotions in order to have this conversation with their child without going into defensiveness.
Yes.
Or being like, back in the day, I had to walk 14 miles to get to my school. All we're asking you to do is whatever they're asking you to do. We hear that story a lot.
Did you ever felt that there is a thing which is log kya kahenge?
Yes.
How when you or any child, if their upbringing is in by Indian parents, I think the biggest problem is that log kya kahenge? What will the surroundings say about them? और therapy अपने आप में एक trauma है उनके लिए, that हमारा बच्चा therapy लेने जाएगा. It's a shame. It is लोग पागल कहेंगे तुझे. Did you ever felt that while upbringing, or your parents were open? And number 2, but if someone is listening right now, उनके parents शायद अभी अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं कर पा रहे होंगे कि हमारा बच्चा क्या कह रहा है. It is a shame. Why he needs therapy. उनको क्या हम समझा सकते हैं that it is okay to take a therapy, how it will help. It is not a big deal.
Yes. Okay. So the first question, what will people say? Loki, Kahenge. Yes, I dealt with that a lot inadvertently. Like my parents wouldn't directly say it too much. However, their actions, they were trying to keep face in the community. And we have to think about, with immigration, there's cultural encapsulation. So if your parents immigrated in the 80s, the version of culture that they remember is from 1980 in India.
Yep.
But now India's been evolving. But their visualization, their conceptualization of what's
still there. Yeah.
It's still stuck there, right? So the little things that I wasn't allowed to do or was allowed to do, it was very encapsulated in their understanding of culture from 1980. Now, what was the second part of your question?
That what if a parent right now, if they came from India, they're here, or anyone who's sitting in India has a problem, they need a therapy, but they're not openly able to say it to their parents because of the shame, because they are scared of it. That how can we take our therapy? How can our kids go for therapy? पागल कहेंगे तुझे लोग.
Yes, and I think that is a big stigma that we need to work on eradicating. And I think there's also a piece here that we want to validate. The piece is that back in 1980 or the 90s, most of the therapists were white. Most of the therapists would not have understood
Yes.
the culture. So there's a protective element here for our parents trying to shield us from therapy.
Yeah.
Because some of the ways that we do things, it would have just flabbergasted, confused these therapists. But now here, let's fast forward to where we're sitting today.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for parents to know that there are South Asian counselors out there. We have experienced some of the things that your children, as a child of immigrants, I experienced what it was like to walk two cultures,
Yeah.
walk the hyphen. There's a book written, but to then maybe it's even more than two cultures. You said, Hindi, Punjabi,
Yeah.
indigenous land that we're on, and then also this Western culture, whatever that means. So allowing your child to access therapy and support from somebody that has this deeper understanding that you may not fully grasp yet,
Yeah.
we're expanding. We're not feeding your child ideas that are going to harm them. We're trying to expand their options, expand their mindset. And if your child is young, our children's therapists here, they actually have consults with the parents first. You could feel out the vibes.
Yeah.
If you think that this is not a good fit, have a free consultation with somebody else.
Yeah.
If you don't think that therapist is going to get it fully, somebody else might.
They might help.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a saying, normally, nowadays it is being said, all the generation which came to Canada, so why they never felt depression, why they never felt trauma, why they never felt it. Because we are achievers. We South Asians, we just believed in we need to make a lot of things. एक नॉर्मल इमिग्रेंट की लाइफ की सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम सबसे पहली थी पीआर, फिर यहाँ घर लेना, फिर बैक होम में घर बनाना, बच्चों को ये समझाना that what they have done is big. Isn't it that the next generation is just soft? Might be not, but that's what I think, that how the parents were able to cope up with the two generation things, two culture things. Because, yeah, we are not fully white and we are not fully brown. That's the problem. But how they were able to survive through it, and the next generation is facing a lot. Or is it their trauma which is now all together in their child and it's bursting out?
Yes, several things with what you've said, and hopefully I can remember them all. The first piece is you said survive.
Yeah.
That's what our parents did.
Yeah.
They were in survival. So they were working really hard. And what does that do? When you work that hard, you're distracted.
Yeah.
You're not present.
Yeah.
You're not able to sit with the grief that you feel. You're not able to sit with the pain, the wounding. You're not able to sit with the intergenerational impact, even the racism you feel. You're going to plug through it because you're in survival mode.
Yeah.
Your urgency, fast pace. You're building something. And I do want to stop here and say so much gratitude.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matas, Pitas, everyone that came here to provide this light for us.
And worked everything out.
Thank you so much. And the piece you said, are we feeling their pain? I think those of us, it's privilege. It is privilege to slow down and feel the pain of my mother and feel the pain of my nani's silence. This is privilege, to feel the exhaustion of my father's working two jobs to get me through all of this education.
Yeah.
And now for me to slow down and to feel it and to go to my therapist for 7 years, that's privilege. And the healing that we do, it it helps our ancestors heal. It's going backwards and helping them heal, and it's going forwards. It's going to help our children heal.
Is it that really connected?
I sit in expansive containers. So what I see is beyond science. I sit in expansive containers. Like I just had one Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now I'm seeing you today, and it was with a South Asian man. And to have his ancestors come through and say thank you for healing, for your lineage.
That's really big.
His India mummy came through. His daddi came through and asked me for chaw with sugar. To have them, and not all of us in our healing are going to get to that point. This man, the South Asian man, he has done just so much profound work. But to see, to witness how proud they are of you up there. And if you don't believe in all of that, that's okay too. It's for your children then, right? If that's what you can tangibly see, it's for your children, it's for your nephews, it's for your nieces. It's for the next generation.
No, but this thing, what you just said, wait, I want to gulp this. Is it really possible in the time of healing that you can connect to your ancestors and then you understand their pain and you are going through that trauma? It's just a built up. And then you are talking to them. Is it really possible, or it is inner you talking to yourself? Or just explain me more, because that's something new.
Yes, I think it's the way that you conceptualize and see. I hold a container.
Okay.
And it's up to the client to just, in their healing, whatever is going to show up. So if it's parts of themselves, like we look at it through science, we have epigenetics now. It's in your cells. Your grandmother's pain through epigenetics, scientifically found, and I put that in quotes because our ancestors knew this for years in Indigenous communities.
Okay.
So their cells, the pain that they've gone through, it's in the marrow of our bones, is in the cells of our blood. But if we want to go with the spiritual realm, which maybe some of your clients might understand differently.
Yeah.
Yes. Once your chakras are cleared, once your body centers have cleared out the trauma, recalibrated, it is incredibly powerful, then yes, you can connect. Because this is enlightenment.
Wow.
And this is privilege. This is the privilege that our parents who grinded to have us here.
And it's in our blood.
It's in our blood. Because why is he all of a sudden going through all these yoga postures that I never taught him?
Okay.
Because the yogis come from the Himalayas in India. And that after clearing it out, and then why is his Nani coming through?
Which you never know.
I never knew her. I just know it's something coming from the left. The left is feminine.
Yeah.
And I say something's tapping on the left, and he's like, it's my Nami.
That was one when you were healing him.
Yeah, I hold the container.
What is a container?
I hold the space.
Oh, you hold the space.
I hold the space. I walk through the shadows with you.
Yeah.
The shadows, first you have to walk through your own shadows. You have to face all of your wounded parts. Then you're going to walk through your lineage of shadows if you decide to go that far.
Well, I would love to experience something like that.
An expanded container.
Really, how that person feels.
Yes. I mean, yoga is one way.
Yeah.
Yoga can get you there. Meditation is another way. But then there's that other way that we're starting to do with therapy, and that's through medicine.
Through medicines. Okay. We'll come back.
Get there. We'll circle back. Yeah.
We'll come back. Yeah. You have gone through a lot of therapy in your life. You told me that 7 years you were into therapy because of your reason. Because we South Asian, we are built different. Our household is really different. So what was the main problem back then? Was it easy to find someone who really understands South Asian problems? Because our first problem is that parents need to understand that there is a problem. The problem is not the problem. We have other problems in our families. So was it difficult back then? And how, when you chose that I want to become a therapist, why that decision came in and how you changed it?
Okay, thank you. I think I really wish that I had access therapy sooner.
Yeah.
It would have been really helpful. And back to what I said earlier, maybe there's a reason that I didn't. Maybe most of the therapists out there were cultures that would not have understood me. I didn't actually start accessing therapy until I was in like college, university years. Even then, I wish I'd started right in the beginning. The problems in my family are quite challenging to speak about openly. I speak kind of around my healing a lot because a lot of it's not my story to tell. Both of my siblings they've gone through a lot of trauma. And then we have to talk about secondary trauma. So witnessing somebody go through profound trauma and being close to them, you get vicarious or secondary trauma. So a lot of my trauma is from that. And let's talk about that South Asian household because I was like almost like a mother. I was parentified.
Yes.
So I was the eldest daughter and I was parentified from my brother and sister, and then witnessing them experience so much. One was very medical, the other one, the story is very painful, so I'm not going to share their stories, but to witness and find out and understand and then start to put all the pieces together, that was shattering for my nervous system. It disconnected me from my body. And that's what trauma is. Your nervous system, like I explained, your window of tolerance, the fight, flight, freeze response starts going like a siren. Your amygdala becomes compromised. And when that happens at a young age, your prefrontal cortex and your medial frontal cortexes, they actually scan differently on brain scans. So had I started accessing it with the right counselor sooner, I think it would have been profound. But let's talk about when I did. I didn't find a good fit for many. I don't even know, probably a dozen counselors, many counselors. Some were good for like that moment, that season. Help me get through my exams. Help me get through my thesis. Oh gosh, my goodness, this was, yeah. So it helped me for those pieces. And then I wanted somebody who specialized in trauma, but he was a white man. So that understanding wasn't fully there. He did EMDR and I was learning EMDR. So to be in the client seat was very powerful because I could learn the modality from him. But in terms of fit, it wasn't there. Now, fast forward to my now counselor. Hopefully she keeps me on her schedule for a very long time to come. She's not even South Asian. She's from Hungary. She's an immigrant from Hungary. Okay. But because she's done so much of this work that I spoke to earlier, the expanded work, the armor's all gone. You're speaking to the person without any of their, we call it parts or defenses or protectors. You speak to her directly. And she has been profound in my journey. She's friends with Ramate. I like to, I'll just plug that, but I'm not going to give you her name. It's just life-changing. I wouldn't be here in this seat with you today had I not met. I met this woman in grad school, actually. We went to grad school together. And then we connected at lunch again. And she was like, so like, I'm looking to reconnect with some people from grad school. I'm like, you do medicine work. I want to do medicine work. And she's like, you want to be my client? I'm like, okay, let me think about it. And she took me on. And I think that was 2021. So 4 years ago?
5 years.
5 years ago. Good math. Yeah. Life changing.
Wow. And when did you really thought that I want to become a therapist?
I was very young, very, very young when I just knew. And this is going to sound back to like the spiritual realm. I reincarnated in this lifetime and this was my purpose. And it sounds ridiculous.
No. It is tough to digest, honestly. But how you get to know spiritually that I want to do this. This is my job. In this life. इस जन्म में ये मेरा रोल होने वाला है. ये मतलब मुझे तो आज तक नहीं समझ आया. मैं तो रोज नया काम ढूंढने चला जाता हूँ शायद. How did you really Understood.
I just, as a child, you're so expanded, you're so open. I just knew. I didn't know how to explain it to my parents, like, what are you going to be when you grow up? I'm like, doctor, no, that's not it. So the closest thing was psychology. So I think I was a grade 6 or something when I looked up psychology. I'm like, yeah, this kind of fits. So I didn't even know what the words were. I just knew what it was. And then, of course, my father wanted me to be, PhD, karla, psychologist, nahi padhna, right? Psychiatrist, nahi padhna. No, that's not what I'm meant to do. And I'm grateful that I didn't go get that psychologist's license, because our licenses are different, and the work that I actually do, the container I hold, I couldn't hold because their license is more rigid. So I am very, very grateful to my ancestors for guiding me, and for my parents for giving me that openness to just explore courses in university. I took so much women's studies, and then I took a lot of psychology, and then finally I went back and did my master's, and they just allowed it, accepted it.
Do you think that after you have done, you open Solidarity, you are the founder of it, what change you have really brought towards the South Asian parents? Because हमारी problem सबसे बड़ी वही है कि इज्जत, that how therapy is normal for them. What you have changed, how accessible you have made it for them, that there's someone who will understand their family household. There's someone who will understand the problem that हाँ कि मेरा परिवार एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर पा रहा है इस प्रॉब्लम को, क्योंकि ये अपने आप में एक सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. Do you think there's a difference you have made in that part? And is it your really primary focus on it?
Yes, that's a fascinating question. Thank you. I guess the humble parts of me are like finding it difficult to answer. I think the people that come to get the support, they're the ones that, if you can face your own darkness, you can sit in the fire of burning down all of those coping things that are not working, all those things that are not working, and you can space those shadows eye to eye.
Yeah.
That is my client who's doing the work. I am just holding that space. I'm holding that container and just reflecting like a mirror the things, hopefully at times when you can digest it, when you have the capacity to digest it. And I think something about what you said too, in India, I haven't been to India, to be honest. The understanding that I have from what my parents have shared is very communal.
Yep.
A lot of community. So maybe in India, you would go to your Masi's house or your Pua, and they're all there to support you. Here in Canada, you're going to go to London to your Masi's house, or you go to Calgary to see,
Different parts, yeah.
Maybe in Surrey that a lot of your folks have family that's closer. I'm not sure, but all of that to say that therapy is to be able to access that support close to home. Just like we evolved to need support. We're human beings. We don't heal in isolation.
Yeah.
We heal in conversation, in community. We heal when somebody gently tells us to look a little deeper in the way that we are actually contributing to our own suffering.
Yeah. You can probably say that, but एक इंडियन हाउस होल्ड में जिस हिसाब से अपब्रिंगिंग की जाती है बच्चे की, दैट सिंपल फेज व्हिच आई यूज्ड इन द बिगिनिंग वाज द मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. द गर्ल्स आर ऑफन टोल्ड टू एडजस्ट, इट्स फाइन, ही इज जस्ट योर ब्रदर, ही इज जस्ट डूइंग दैट, और हिज हस्बैंड मैन डू दैट. और लड़के को समझाया जाता है मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. या फिर इफ एनी गाय इज क्राइंग, दे विल जस्ट सिंपली से क्या लड़कियों की तरह रो रहा है, which is a biggest problem. If you ever feel that trauma builds up, and while you're treating someone, does that things really impact those people while healing? You understand, he's been into a problem of gender biasness majorly. That is why he has been into this trauma. Might be if he spoke up early, easy. Have you felt that? What is different?
I think that's one of the biggest reasons I decided to come and have this conversation with you is I really am hoping more and more men and boys and teenage youth that are male identifying can start to access some of this support for themselves, because some of the ways that family, with even the mothers, this internalized misogyny, this internalized way of treating her daughter differently than her son, and the father and the culture, and it's all done in the name of protecting daughters, but it ends up making them learn to overextend.
Yep.
Women learn that they have to they're caretakers for everybody, and that deeply impacts their mental health, of course. And with women, we see a lot of turning this stress or turning this anger inwards. And what that does is it, in the long term, if you've had that much stress turned inwards, you've no outlet, it somaticizes, meaning we see a lot of autoimmune conditions like arthritis. You've
Yep.
seen this in our community. Arthritis, we see a lot of, like, there's women coming in with like things I haven't even heard of, like Hashimoto's disease and all of these conditions because of how much stress that they've held inwards. And if we think of our Nania or Bibia,
Yeah.
we see a lot of that. And then with the males, I see two paths often. I see this path of you're going to do the hard work and do your healing. And healing is not easy. You have to, like I said, look your shadows in the eye. You have to sit in the fire of all of the trauma your ancestors went through, depending on how far you want to go. Or you can choose this other path. And if we've already cushioned our boys and said, it's okay, don't do the dishes. Oh, here's a brand new car. This other path, it starts to look like entitlement. And that's not healthy for our sons in our community. It's enabling them to not be able to show up in ways that are going to be healthy for their families, not be healthy for themselves.
Do you think that has caused major problems? These two lines only, women to adjust and the men to be mard. Do you think that has caused major problems in South Asian families?
I think that is one of the major problems. It's hard for me to be reductionist and be like, this is it.
Then what will be the major? If you openly want to say that in South Asian family, this is the major problem. What is the major problem? What is the second one?
I think there's a lot of trauma. I think there's a lot of trauma that's physical violence, verbal violence. I think there's a lot of trauma that's sexual violence. And we have to understand that I work with folks like that come to me that are a certain slice of the pie, right?
Yeah.
I don't see the whole pie. I see the people that come to me for support.
Yeah.
And the people that I'm accessing a lot, it's a lot of sexual trauma in our communities. And it's not even just towards women. The perpetrators, why are they perpetrating? Something happened to them in their childhood.
Yeah.
And instead of going through this dark healing path, it's easier to probably have drinks and pop off at everyone around you. But you're holding this secret of how you were abused.
Yeah. I don't think so. Men ever get space to talk about that what sexually might have happened to them in their life.
Yeah.
Especially in India, if a man complains about something sexual happen, it will be a joke. No less than a joke, I will say. If any guy is listening to you right now and he has been through anything which has happened to him in his life, what are the first few things he should be doing to heal himself, to let go that past? If you want to just tell him right now, do this.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of courage to even admit it to yourself. because a lot of these memories, they get blacked out, they get compartmentalized. Like we talk about, you put it in a filing cabinet and pretend it's not there, but then after a few drinks, it's coming out in anger. So one of the things that we can do is, the first tool is always going to be your breath.
Okay.
That long exhale is your most accessible tool. And then in terms of telling somebody, and I'm not saying it's just sexual violence, it's a lot of physical as well, but that's hard for men too.
And
My dad is heavy-handed. Like, that's not something, that's the term that in Western I hear a lot. I don't know, in Punjabi, what do you hear?
it's same. It's kind of same that, but that's what I have told you, that mard ko dard nahi hota is always been a thing, that a guy cannot ever say that मुझे किसी ने पीट दिया. मतलब if I talk about myself too, while I was growing up, स्कूल के अंदर अगर मैं मार खा के वापस आ जाऊँ ना, तो शायद मेरे डैड मुझे 3 बार पूछते कि कुट खा के हैं, did they beat you? This is a guy I'm talking to. No. So that is something actually happened to a lot of men. And everyone cannot be fighter. Everyone cannot be survivor too. They're different. I really understand that. But does that really create trauma in anyone's life, that in school they were beaten up by someone? Does that create trauma?
Yes. Yes, that bullying, it shows up in our relationships oftentimes. So when things get hard, especially in a relationship, so maybe it's in your relationship with your partner, or now you have children and they're becoming of that age. And I see that a lot, is the trauma that happened to us at a certain age. When your children become that age, those memories resurface. Remember, we talked about it being in your body, being in your cells.
Yeah.
And parents come to me, they're like, I don't want to hit my child, but I threw something at the wall, and don't call them CFD. I made a hole, but I'm here today. I showed up. And I'm like, okay, you showed up.
That's
huge. Now let's get your next 6 sessions into the calendar. And let's go. Let's go through this journey together.
Jessie, if there's an Indian parent right now, their child is coming to them again and again with something from their childhood. Again and again, he's talking about something. He's stuck somewhere. They're not able to understand why he's talking about that again and again. It's like 5th time he's talking about that to us. How they can start healing that child right away at home, without sessions, without any therapist. How they can really understand him, that where's the problem.
I think I love what Gabor Mate will throw him in here. He's our Vancouver trauma doctor. I love what he said once. It's the trauma is not often the thing that happened to you, but it's the reaction of when you share it. So when you share it, that look on your parent's face, not feeling seen, heard, understood.
Yeah.
That is what this child is trying to get. So for the parent to actually take down all of your armor, sit openly, get really curious. You've mentioned this several times. What is it about this that's really hard? How is it impacting you? Like, how is the impact of it still harmful? Asking these questions you have to take your armor down, though. And that is one of the hardest things, because you're the parent. You want to protect your child, or you want to defend your child, but your child just needs to be fully heard. And then if they do want a solution, oftentimes people don't want a solution. And that is the hardest thing, is to actually ask, are you looking for emotional support? I mean, if your child's 8, you can't ask it in this way. Or are you looking for solutions? Because our parents are going to go into solution. Even in our relationships with our friends and our partners, we go into solution because we feel some sort of way that this person that we love has been hurt. It's a normal reaction, but that's what the therapist doesn't do. we sit there and we're like, okay, that's horrific.
Yeah.
And what about this do you need the support with?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your
Yeah.
question.
Basically, opening your arms. Don't become the teacher at that point. Is that if that's something I understood? Like, it has been in my life too. A lot of my friends come to me and they talk about, yeah, this thing is going into my head. My answer used to be, "Fir kya ho gaya?" Like, before this conversation, my normal answer was, "Fir kya ho gaya? It is fine. किसकी जिंदगी में stress नहीं? It is okay. आगे कुछ कर ले." But again, it is the same. That it's teacher mode, not listener mode. The listener mode is different. We have to open our arms. So that's 100% yes.
Yes, exactly. And I think the way that you said it there, though, there's something beautiful about that too, because it's not just the words, it's your body language, it's your energy, it's your tone, it's your facial expression.
Yeah.
So your friends will keep coming back to you if all of that feels open, if your heart is open.
Yeah. I don't think so. They will come back to me how I react normally to them. But yeah, how I will react after this podcast might be different. But before this, I don't think so. They were able to openly discuss a lot of emotional aspects with me. I'm emotionally full. I always say. I get numb when someone talks to me emotionally. I don't know what to react on. But yeah, after this podcast, 100%, I'm going to guarantee them that I'll react different. But tell me what's the issue, I'll understand.
And your heart chakra.
Yeah, I just understand you more. Okay, coming back to the South Asian families, we are overachievers in our life. We have been learned one thing. What I was taught. There's a saying: the fire and the depression don't live together. The people who have fire to do something in their life, they don't get depressed. And the people who get depressed, they don't have fire in them to do anything. How true is that? And how is it? Have you experienced people who have done a lot in their life and depression, trauma, or something took over them after that? Or the people who were really in depression had more fire than them. How true is that?
Yes, thank you. Corporate comes up here.
Yeah.
Clients, because, corporate gives good benefits.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of clients from corporate careers.
Yeah.
Corporate is not a natural way of living, working. It's just asking you to go around.
Yeah.
This, like, you think about a little rat on a hamster wheel.
Yes. It's just running.
That's what corporate is asking you to do over and over. So in terms of purpose, a lot of those clients don't feel like they fulfilled their purpose. And there is a sense of depression is a big word, but I do have several actually that they clinically would fall under depression, but they still have the fire to stay on that hamster wheel because of maybe they're children of immigrants, maybe they are immigrants, and this is sustaining this beautiful lifestyle.
Yeah.
You can buy the designer whatever you want, you have your home, but when it comes to actually feeling fulfilled, that's not there, because that's not why they're here in this timeline.
But still, my question still stands there. The people who have fire, does they get depressed? And the people who are depressed, does they have fire? Because like you said in the beginning too, you just said, because they were too busy in overachieving, they did not have time to look at their depression. Then I will say the easiest way to go over from your trauma or depression is just work more. Distract. Just work more. Does that really works?
It works until it stops working. It's going to work until you're, as a man, maybe 60? As a woman, our bodies are built differently.
So I mean,
health issues, a lot of health issues, autoimmune comes back up. Those clients that are in corporate doing this hamster wheel, they have the fire to do the hamster wheel, but they're depressed. So depression and anxiety often dance together.
Yeah.
We see that a lot in trauma, especially. The depression is there. Think of it like parts of self.
Okay.
So we have different parts of ourselves.
Mm.
You have this part that does these podcasts. You probably have a different part with your family.
Yeah.
You have a different part maybe when you're alone.
Mm-hmm.
So think of depression as a part and think of this fire. Is anxiety, is that the fire, or is this your like Shakti?
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
So you mean someone who is overperformer, overachiever outside might be once he gets home, he's just silent and not even uttering a word.
Yeah. But these are parts. They're dancing. They're driving your vessel, but that's not your true authentic self.
God.
So if you're going to live your life letting your parts drive your vessel.
Yeah.
You're not letting your true
Self. Yeah.
take the wheel.
Oh, it's too much of door opening. Let's talk about what you are expert at. Crime victims. Walk us through, like, what should be a crime victim's first reaction? How did they build up a lot of things in them? And what's their journey altogether? Like 1 day after what happened, 1 week after what happened, and years after what happened?
Yeah, it's a very integrative question. So let's talk about the day after. You're probably still in shock.
Yeah.
Maybe you're even frozen in denial because you're going to grieve that this crime happened to you.
Yeah.
And now there's different types of crimes as well. But one thing that I will say is if you can get access to the crime victim assistance program's free counseling, please do so. Because then you get some sessions to work through this with somebody. And we have several of our counselors are signed up with crime victim assistance program. So we direct bill to them and you just come in for your therapies. So that's really accessible.
In Canada.
In Canada, sorry. I don't know what India's system's like.
There's no free thing. What should a crime victim do in that kind of situation? There's nothing. There's nothing. They might go to jail. And the person who is victim is different kind of treated. They might even be hiding what happened because there's no free therapy in India. In India, I guess I might be very, very straightforward to that, but therapy is for rich people, not for middle class or lower middle class. How should that person be healed after becoming a victim? If you can walk us through, because you're an expert in that.
Yeah, healing in isolation is really challenging. So if there's so much shame about this crime that happened and you cannot even tell anyone, that leaves us in a very isolated space to listen to the podcasts and I imagine this is why you're doing this.
Yeah.
And to access connection, because we need connection and we need to be seen. We need to be heard in order to heal.
Yeah.
And maybe that happens in the comment sections and things like that for some folks. If they do it under accounts that maybe people don't see them, I'm not sure. But really, let's get back to your breath then. The things that are impacted is your physiology. Get back to that fight, flight, freeze. That's going to be sirening. Disconnection from body. Mind and body become disconnected because it is too painful to sit with the emotions of what has happened. And you need to slowly reconnect. I personally really love yoga.
Yeah.
That's something I grew up with because, they tell you in Sikhi, you go to the temple. I have ADHD. I can't sit there and it was very challenging. My legs are going this way. They're going this way.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the bathroom now. But once I found yoga, so yoga can clear the chakras, the breath work.
Yeah.
It is just very holistic what yoga can provide. So if you have access to that in India,
Yep.
then
yoga will be the best healer.
yeah, then let's go do that. At some point, I do hope that you're able to share some of this with somebody in once maybe you've done a bit more healing, so it's not in a way that feels intrusive or violating to share. I think shame is something we really need to work on deconstructing in our communities as well. And again, I can't speak to India because I don't have enough familiarity, but I do know about the immigrants and the children of
Yeah.
immigrants here. Shame is like a dark cloud that sits over us. And back to those parts that we were talking about, when shame becomes a part and it's driving our vessel, it's really hard to access that highest cell.
Yes.
So reconnecting to the body, healing the physiology, connecting to our breath, nature, tatimata, that is the next best thing that I can. And our ancestors, they knew something, all the farming and everything. When you actually put your hands in the dirt,
Yeah.
it is healing. So when you are outside and you're able to touch a tree, kids now have the saying, go touch grass, instead of just sitting on their devices all day, because that lowers cortisol levels, increases dopamine, it lowers blood pressure. This is the medicine that our ancestors knew about, and now we're all stuck on our phones. So that's one thing I would invite you not to do, is because when you get into that loop of social media too often, then you might start comparing yourself or see things that are very triggering. Let's try to reconnect to ourself and heal through what is accessible: yoga, earth, nourishing food.
Yeah.
And I say that so easily. It is very hard to do in isolation.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I have a question. It might be sounding right or wrong, but I don't care now. If someone has been raped in life, or someone has been through something which is horrifying, that girl went to court, filed the case, did not get justice. Or that girl never filed the case, which means no justice. Can someone be fixed? Can someone be healed without justice being at that place? If someone has not got the justice for what happened to them and they're in that trauma, can they be healed?
Absolutely. That is what fortunately for the community, unfortunately, the fact that this is what I see every day, this is what I work with, is sexual trauma as rape, often incest. It happens more often than anybody would like to admit or think about. That this is my daily life, is working with the survivors of incest and rape. Back to the chakras, we need to reconnect you to your body slowly, because then a lot of your body's not safe for you anymore, where the abuse happened. For women, oftentimes it's sitting in the sacral, the womb space. It has impacted her solar plexus.
Yeah.
It's impacted her, connection to creativity, everything that the solar plexus holds.
Yeah.
It's impacted oftentimes the heart as well. Throat, the silencing, the shame. And a lot of the healing, back to the containers that I hold, it happens from the womb through the throat. So I hold space for women to basically scream for 8 hours, because that is how the cells need to recalibrate for this clearance to happen out of the body. But that is not something that we're going to start with. First, let's start with some neurofeedback or something to walking with earth, something to start getting your nervous system to a place where you can even connect to your body. Yes, the healing justice would be amazing. It'd be very helpful, and it doesn't happen. That's why they give these victims, as they call them, I call them survivors. They survived, but now we're going to move to thriving. Yep. We're going to reclaim your body. We're going to reclaim your Shakti, your power, and we are going to thrive. That's all the justice system here often offers, is the counseling, the free counseling through Crime Victim Assistance Program. And you don't need to actually go to court to even get that. So I have that conversation. Like, this thing happened. Unfortunately, most cases don't win. Do you want to put your nervous system and your body through this, even going through the court system? Or should we take your 48 sessions or whatever they gave you, 36, whatever it is, 24 sometimes, and then I will advocate for more and more until we walk through this?
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Yeah. Choosing the justice or the healing.
Yeah, because this might put your nervous system through even more. Now you're going to see him in court. Like, that's...
Oh, yeah.
But if that is something that you feel like you need for, there's something speaking to you, then let's go this route. It's the client's choice always.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay. For what I have understood, correct me if I'm wrong, that the healing will be helping that person to forgive and forget, or coming over it.
So let's talk about sacred rage.
Sacred rage.
Sacred rage. I think in this Western world especially, women don't like to connect with their anger.
Okay.
They turn their anger inwards. And what does that do? It makes them sick after years. That too. Endometriosis is sitting in your womb. PCOS is in your womb. Bladder things, women that pee too often, all of these things. Men too. What if we could do the practices to actually connect to your rage around this? Because most of the time, unfortunately, you weren't the only one in your lineage that was raped.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, again, oftentimes, horrifically, it was your mother, it was your nanny, it was everyone up the lineage. So it's not just your trauma that we need to get rid of now. We need to clear it fully through. Because it's all sitting in your womb. And back to epigenetics, because you were actually an egg in your mom's body when your nanny was pregnant. So all of that is sitting in you. And for some folks where maybe they don't know about that, or we're not going to connect with that, let's connect to the sacred rage of this.
Yeah.
So this is doing some very powerful postures. I bring yoga into my practice a lot. Let's clear the body. I clear out the furniture. Let's get on the floor. And I invite them in on that Monday morning when no one else is working. We're going to do some powerful vocal, and we're going to start getting it out. And then if they want to sit in a more expansive container, then the sacred rage will often, back to spirituality, Jay Magali comes in at this point. In their dreams, she might come in as like a supportive figure, or they'll be like, especially the South Asian lineages.
Yeah.
At one point, we were all one.
Yep.
So, and you know the story. I don't think I need to go through the story here of how she's so powerful and so helpful. That is the sacred rage. We don't need to hold this in our bodies. Forgiveness, sure, after we've cleared it, if that's what you decide to do, cool. If you decide that that's not for me, cool. That's not what we're starting with.
So basically, the healing process will help you live with it, with being it part of your body. That has happened, but yeah, let's move forward.
It helps you reprocess it, and it helps you integrate it, and it helps you clear it out of your chakras. So then it becomes this thing that happens, but there's no activation around it. Your heart rate doesn't go up anymore. Your shame doesn't cloud over your head talking about it anymore. It's, yes, I am a survivor of rape, and now I actually support other women in circles, and I talk about it openly. So we're trying to get you to that point where it doesn't take over your body and shut you down.
Making them survivors, not victims.
Thrivers is where we're getting to, sir.
Thrivers.
Thrivers. We're thriving. The Shakti is so powerful.
Yeah.
We're going to thrive.
Yeah. Oh, that totally makes sense. And that's a different experience for me, to understand that point of healing. Because again, before this podcast, I would have said, if there's no justice, no one can be healed. Yeah. You might have given me a different point of view after this, to always that, yes, there's still a belief in yourself. There's, you said Jai Ma Kali, so that is different kind of aspect, to always understand how our ancestors been into fights, and the fight is inner self. So very, very constructive answer. So, okay. You also do something, a training, which I'm reading, which is amazing. You are trained to do lens. Lens is a low energy neurofeedback system. It sounds like a science fiction to me, really. Can you explain people that what is lens, how it actually work, and how is it part of therapies? Like, what is it?
Lens neurofeedback.
Yeah.
Low energy systems. I think there's a lot of folks out there that would consider this pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience.
So again, what did you call it?
I just said it's science fiction. I was like, it's something which it's too big for me. Lens. When I was reading it, I was like, what is this, part of treatment or part of understanding? I'll get to know today.
Yeah, and I mean, I tried to apply for my PhD to study it, and they shot me down saying this is not something that is a credible or whatever. But there are other universities that are the leading researchers. So I think this conversation would be about big pharma, how big pharma, you understand the concept here?
A little bit, but yes, you can cut.
Yeah, so we have big pharma prescribing medications, putting people on Ativan, SSRIs. That makes a lot of money, and some people really need it. I'm not here to shoot down psychiatry at all. I think that is something, like I take Vyvanse for my ADHD, and that is something I don't want to shame anybody around.
Yeah.
And things get prescribed in huge doses, in my experience. The dose just keeps going up. When you have a client coming in for suicidal ideation, and then they get prescribed medication with the side effect of suicidal ideation, you start to kind of wonder. And then their suicidal ideation gets worse.
Okay.
So this system has, in my experiential knowledge, the empirical knowledge, I think it only has 35 years of research right now, which is not enough for some folks. So I will speak to that controversy. But in my experience, it has been phenomenal. In the first piece, back to that nervous system window of tolerance, for a client to be able to use the therapy that we're providing and actually benefit from it, they have to be in this window of tolerance.
Okay.
To some extent, we're going to come out of our window a bit as we start to reprocess and integrate. But if you're spiking out of your window of tolerance, your entire prefrontal cortex is offline now. And the prefrontal cortex is really important for you to
understand,
concentrate, focus, to be able to have judgment, discern. If that is the third eye, right? If that is all offline, if the therapies are not that beneficial. So I use this in those phases with clients that are very out of their window, like the traumas that have been very dysregulating. So we've got two ways of doing it. These wires here, if you've ever been to the ER, they slap these wires on you for your heart rate all the time.
Yeah.
You remember that you put stickers on?
Yes, and then they paste it on.
Exactly. But the system isn't here. This is just some props to explain. This system is going to help with your nervous system, not your heart rate.
Okay.
So same concept, but we're accessing the nervous system. What it does is it just reads what's happening in the nervous system, mirrors it back to you. And there are some people that it works phenomenally for.
And what do you get to know about, like, from, for example, you might be pasting it up here.
Yeah.
And then what do you get to know about from the nervous system?
Oh, excellent question. So these are body wires. I start with the body first.
Okay.
I'm going to start at your waist probably first, just to test how your system does with it. And that's because this whole amygdala thing, all the nerves come around the waist, and that's a really nice centered space. And then when we go to your question, it's different wires we have to They're a little bit thinner. We have to kind of put wax on you and stuff. I get to see how much neural connectivity is happening in that zone. So how well is it connecting?
Okay.
And if it's connected, if it's in hyperconnection, that means like there's so much going on in that area. Or maybe it's suppressed. Oftentimes, a lot of the prefrontal cortex for ADHD and for trauma survivors, the medial frontal cortex as well, a lot of this is not in optimal functioning.
Okay.
Because what's happened is that response, that fight, flight, freeze has been just going off too often for the complex trauma survivors. So we're just trying to like optimize some of that brain functioning for the nervous system to feel more regulated. So again, it works really well with people who are sensitive. Some people are just so hardy, they're like, or just so disconnected from their body. They're like, I don't feel anything. Okay, if you don't feel anything in 3 sessions, I'm not going to continue. And if people are on too many medications, I'm not a psychiatrist doing a holistic treatment. Like I just don't know enough about how to work with that many medications. 1 medication, I got this. 2, okay, let's try it. 3, probably not my first.
For an easy human like me, this is reading in human that what's wrong. Are you in trauma, or are you ADHD, or you have something? Because the nerves will respond in a way that you will understand that this person is going through something. Is that correct?
That's correct, and we don't use it for diagnostic purposes.
Oh,
Not at all.
then why is it used? Can it be used for diagnosis in
No, because
general?
at this point, like that's not going to be if you went and pet a dog before the dog, if you were scared of the dog when you came in, it's going to react differently. If you loved dogs before you came in,
It will react.
it's going to react differently. So we're not going to use it for that. It's just to regulate your nervous system.
But is there science made in the world that which can diagnose that which person is going through, if the person is going through depression, stress, trauma?
You need like brain scans for that.
Is there a way to do it?
There are brain scans that some psychiatrists and professionals do to show where the suppression is.
You know why I asked?
Yeah.
I just, when you were talking about that, you connect there and you got to know about trauma. This is how this will react different. So, 3 Idiots में ना एक dialogue था where a person that person suicides. और वो वहाँ आके बोलता है that scientist और science बहुत तेज है. उन्होंने ऐसी machines बना ली हैं जिससे ये पता चल जाता है कि किसी का हार्ट पंप हो रहा है कि नहीं. साइंस ने ऐसी मशीन्स नहीं बनाई हैं जिससे ये पता चल जाए कि यहाँ क्या चल रहा है. But you are telling me different thing. So science has made things which can understand people, which can understand
most people
different.
Yeah, most people that are going through that aren't going to go pay for like this big brain scan, right?
Yeah.
This treatment is just to regulate your nervous system, so the talk therapy can be more beneficial. That's all I use it for.
Okay.
Yeah, and to help you start to reconnect to your body. So when I see patterns, though, I'm like, oh, this pattern looks like ADHD, but I'm not going to be like, hey, do you have ADHD? I'm going to wait for more patterns to come through. And then probably a few sessions later, then be like, so anyone in your family neurodivergent? What do you think of ADHD?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't just go off this one thing because it's not, what's the word? Reliable enough, because, your brain states can change pretty fast. This is just to help you regulate. And it works for, say, like 70% of my clients, not for all of them.
Got it. It's part of a healing process where you understand them more. If simply I say it.
Yeah.
That's right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have understood what you just said on lens, and now I'm going to ask you a few questions which might be helping people a lot and understanding more of the things. From your past experiences, do you think that social media has made more impact of making people go into depression and more into go into traumas than without social media they can be? But what's your say on that? Just basic say.
Yeah, I think there's 2 sides to this. One is it's really information spreading has happened. So I get a lot of young teens and youth that come in. They're like, I think I have ADHD. And they can get that support then. We, of course, are going to sit through it and do some sessions before we say, yes, let's get you tested for ADHD, which I send them to the Parhar clinic. I don't do that. But on the other side, there's a lot of comparison. And that comparison, especially for young folks, can be very challenging because how people present themselves on social media is not oftentimes realistic.
Yeah.
And beyond the comparison, I get a lot of young folks coming in about the comment sections when it comes to big global oppressions or these issues. And they're reading these comments and they're like, how are people this hateful?
Jeffs.
And now they're really upset and starting to lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
And reading a lot of that can, like you're saying.
So for awareness, it might be helpful, but other than that, it's just creating things.
Yeah, so it's both sides of the coin.
Yeah. Okay. Going towards Indian families, ज़्यादातर arranged marriages होती हैं. Indian culture के अंदर it's been the major part of it. We don't choose our partners. 90% it's by the parents. They do arranged marriages. Is it true that the other part of family before arranged marriage, जब शादी रिश्ता जा रहा है, उस time पे other side of family should know about the person's existing trauma or mental health? Do they have rights to know it? What should it come in a disclaimer or no?
Yeah, that's very challenging questions. Wow. Okay.
Because it's an issue.
Yeah, that is.
They can't hide. If, for example, if a girl have a cancer and they're going into arranged marriage, I think so they will tell the other part of family, and if not tell, then it might be a betrayal to that guy who never knew that there's an issue which he needs to be part of. So brain issue, does that comes into it also? The trauma, should it be told, or as it's healing, so let it be? What's your say?
Yeah, I think the trauma oftentimes it's not just a brain issue, it's an embodiment issue too. So that it can impact the way that person is going to be intimate, for example. And I think if the family is part of the issue, how it happened, like if we talk about trauma that was passed down in the family, I think this is a very, very tricky topic.
They should be telling or no? What would you say?
It's really putting me on the hot seat.
Yeah, that is.
Because when it's things like incest and things,
Yeah.
those things haven't been openly shared.
Yeah.
But that is going to create huge problems in the relationship.
Yeah.
And relationships can be incredibly healing.
No. Yep. Yeah.
I have both sides of the coin here too. I have women that are in these relationships and they haven't told their partner about what happened in their family home, but they're trying to heal. They're coming in and they're doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but if it's, I'm going to pass.
Okay. I'll leave that question lighten and to the audience that is it really
to the audience
that is it really that do they have rights to know or no? You can tell us in the comments.
Yes.
Okay. Another question. Is therapy an ear dirty laundering, which is a betrayal to the family? Okay. When someone comes to you for a therapy, they might be telling you all their family secrets, which no one is allowed to know. Is it like a betrayal to my family if my son grows up and he goes for his therapy and the therapist know hell lot of things about me? I'll be like, damn, he told everything about me. So isn't therapy one of the ear dirty laundering kind of thing, which the person who's taking, it's fine, but he's telling everything about the family to them?
I think that is one of the stigmas.
Yeah.
That is one of the stigmas that comes up. And my therapist actually met my parents, and I wonder how they felt about it. That we had a big open house here, a big party, invited my parents, invited my therapist. It's funny. The confidentiality is really important here. I am bound to confidentiality.
Yeah.
I can share like pieces of, like I shared about that South Asian man and how much healing he's done, but you know nothing about him. You don't know his name. You don't know where he lives. You don't know these identifying details where you could ever connect it to him. There's so many South Asian men that live in Langley, sorry, this whole area. So I think it's really important for our viewers to know that ethically and I work in integrity, like I am bound to this confidentiality. Unless a client wants to come up to me, some of them want to because they've done so much deep work. We see each other in a healing space, like a women's circle or something. They're like, Jessie, everyone, this is my therapist. Other people don't. And that's perfectly fine too. So we can look at it as airing dirty laundry, but we can also look at it as this person is trying to break intergenerational cycles of trauma and wounding so they don't pass it on.
The therapists need to have a big appetite of holding a lot of things, no?
And that's why I go to my therapist. I have a circle of women that support me. I could not do this in isolation.
Got it. Okay. Next question. Depression has been growing. If I talk about my father, I'm talking about 1980s or 70s. If he have any issue, it might take him 2 hours to go to an PCO and then dial and then call his friend or another family member and tell what's going on. There is an issue and that will be very expensive too. He survived through everything. Today's generation, my phone is in my pocket. I can dial to my friend, family, anyone in next 1 second or 2 seconds. It's been accessible, but the depression rate has gone more up. What's your say on that point? That is because the solutions are growing, the depression is growing way more than that with that? Or is it awareness is going up? That's why people have more into acknowledging, yes, this is my problem or trauma or anything.
Yeah, again, this is going to be multifaceted. And I want to point to the fact that we have all this access, but really we're more isolated than ever. Back to this distraction conversation that we had earlier. We're so distracted by our devices. We're not actually connecting. We're liking our friends' post and DMing them a meme. We're not sitting down like this and having an actual conversation like you would have in the 1980s. You would have sat down. You would have had the jaw. You would have actually had some food together.
They'll have more time.
And had time to actually be present, heart to heart.
Third
eye to third eye. Look at each other in the face and carve out that time. So I think that is a really big chunk of it.
Okay. Last but not the least, what is a realistic time frame to heal anyone in trauma? It can be a small trauma to a bigger trauma. What is the realistic time frame that a person can be healed in this much time if they are taking really good therapy from anyone across the globe?
Yeah, beautiful question. The fact that I've been in therapy for 7 years is because I don't think healing is a set point. Like if we look at enlightenment, we get there in stages. But to the point of your question, I think if it's something like a car accident, maybe we can do those 12 sessions or something. I can put you through the EMDR, start you out with a bit of lens. And if that's all you have access to is 12 sessions, we can do our best to reprocess it. Now, healing means that you have capacity and ability to sit with pain and discomfort. To get a person to that point of embodiment, that's going to take 2 to 3 years. I tell my clients, because as I've shared, I have a lot of survivors of sexual trauma. So I just share that this is going to take 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years.
If you're in it, we're in it. Let's go. If that timeline doesn't work for you, then
we can't expect people to be normal next morning.
No.
So this was Jessie Dhaliwal. उन्होंने हमें बताया about depression, trauma, how anyone could have been helped, and if someone is looking for a solution, if someone is in Canada, she'll be there to help. But if someone is outside, what are the first few things आपको जो करनी है once you start feeling that you have something which is going through your head and you are not able to solve? So I would request everyone ki do comment that is there any questions on mental illness or we'll say depression, trauma, which we missed out, you want to ask, go ahead and ask. And do subscribe our channel, Maple and Masala, if you want to really know more things. And share this video with someone जो आपको लगता है उसकी लाइफ बदल सकती है because of this all discussion and they might need a help. तो हमारे पेज को सब्सक्राइब कर लें, शेयर कर लें और चाय ज़रूर गर्म रखिएगा क्योंकि अगला कप आपके साथ होगा.